Welcome to my channel. This is the Diamond Chrysalis, aka Divested Diamonds. This is divestment with purpose, and you have arrived. Hello, ladies. Thank you so much for being here. Thanks for joining me. Please do me a favor and click the like button as you watch this video. Thank you kindly. So, have you ever noticed how certain women are so eager to put other women down for the attention of a man? In recent years, there's been a rise of a certain caliber of woman, especially within the Black sector of YouTube, pandering to the few Scooby snacks that some of these Black males are willing to throw in their direction. The sad part of it all is that while these women claim to possess the secret to a great relationship by offering the female perspective, the hard facts are their audience is only supportive because their message is predicated upon putting down groups of women whom these males can't even afford to be with in the first place. Think of it as the feel-good factor. If phrases such as, "Yeah, you will die alone," or "get yourself a dog or a cat because no man will ever want you," are anything to go by, it's very clear and easy to see that the cheerleader, in this case, the pick-me, is only being tolerated because her message is geared towards uplifting a group of men who don't understand the dynamics of having a deeper, fruitful relationship with real, accomplished women. The desperate need to offer insight into why women behave in certain ways towards the opposite sex is done with the understanding that most men love having their egos stroked. And if you can put them on a pedestal, whether or not they deserve it, your reward comes in the form of compliments on how beautiful you are, how different you are from all these Jezebels who want nothing but to sponge off of a man, many of whom have nothing to offer in the first place, but it's a flex nonetheless. Most of these males understand that men are the gatekeepers of marriage, and so they dangle that carrot and try to shame women that they can't even afford into submission because, of course, they believe that as grown men who have nothing to offer, there still is a market of desperate women willing to turn them into projects to make them desirable. These males believe that a woman should accept them for who they are, regardless of how broken or broke they are, because after all, they are the gatekeepers of marriage, right? So if you ever feel the urge to want to get married, especially to a man who has more excuses than money in his bank account, there are lists of hoops to jump through before you get that sparkler on your finger. The sad part of this is that this is a scam to lower your standards so you could give unworthy men a chance at sampling your body like a cocktail snack as they brag to the world how many miles they put on you while stringing you along until they get to tell you how unworthy, how run through you are, and how you've hit the wall. The truth of the matter is, when it comes to the degradation of women, it's not just the males who do it. They have female handlers who help them do it too. This is why it's important to pay attention to your mental state and address the broken parts of you one issue at a time. You must never enter any relationship without working on yourself from the inside out. The more self-esteem you have, the less likely you are to be lured by wolves in sheep's clothing. And please understand that majority of these women who infiltrate men's spaces, practicing the art of treachery, mostly do this for validation, acceptance, and adoration. Their messages are not geared towards the betterment of other women. It's a selfish ploy to try and separate themselves from other women while unashamedly trying to appear as the cream of the crop, a cut above the rest, or quote unquote, fair and balanced. The sad part of it is that they are just as insecure as any woman with low self-esteem. All these women that they speak of mirror who they are. The only difference is these women possess enough narcissistic traits to be able to confidently put themselves out there for a much needed dose of adoration. It's all a facade. However, like any addict, they need it. Most narcissists thrive on that. They need the attention. They are hateful towards other women because they view them as competition. Let me tell you a little something about a woman who's actually done the work and isn't focused on the validation of any man. Women who know their worth. Women who know what they want in life. Those who are truly tapped into who they really are. Never, and I repeat, never look at other women as competition. When you are able to navigate this world in your true form, your true essence, you move to the beat of your own drum. There's a certain grace that comes along with the art of being unbothered. If something is meant to be yours, it'll come to you. Sometimes, however, you may want to give yourself a little push in the right direction in terms of placement, like going to certain places in order to meet certain people. With that said, this is usually done with such effortlessness to where you don't make yourself look too eager or desperate. Because again, those are unattractive traits or habits that tend to drive others away. Not a lot of women have mastered the art of confidence. And I mean the kind of confidence that will have you walk into a room and command an audience in a classy way simply by the way you carry yourself. It's intimidating for a lot of women. That is why most decent women will choose to blend in rather than stand out until you get to a point where you can go anywhere, be around anyone, engage in any type of conversation, and not feel as though you have to shrink yourself to survive in a social setting. There's work to be done in order to get to your inner self. It takes time. It takes practice. It takes experience for one to feel comfortable being in that frame of mind. So yeah, back to these women who pander to these men. The issue with pandering is that you have to keep going in order to succeed. Even then, you're still treading on thin ice because this is how these situations go, right? The next lie you tell, as far as boosting a man's ego, should be more elaborate than the last one. And you need to master the art of ass kissing. The problem with weak forms of art such as these is that you cannot change your trajectory and criticize the very males you're tap dancing for, because if you do, they will call you a female dog and treat you just like they do every other woman. And everybody knows that these women do not want that. I will never for the life of me try to understand why any woman would choose to position themselves in that manner. Going against your gender for some compliments and Scooby snacks seems retarded to me. I've also never understood the concept of competing with other women for validation, attention, or marriage. In my experience, when a man sees what he wants, he would normally go for it, pursue it, and do whatever it takes to acquire it. And that includes women. I don't believe that any woman needs to break a sweat to be noticed by a man. Women do not sweat. We glow. I mean, if you have to go to extreme lengths for a man's attention, that's just the prelude to the rest of your relationship, should you choose to be in one. What these women preach is other women's abuse and continued servitude to men. They deliberately go out of their way to validate all the toxic parts of masculinity that, quite frankly, most women aren't subscribing to anymore. What these women won't tell you is that relationships between men and women have reached a breaking point for a reason. Most decent women are done being disrespected. Imagine being the creator of all human life and being told you have to play second fiddle and bow down to your own creation. Where is the logic in that? Yes, men do help in the creation of the human race, but let's not get things confused here. Women also do the majority of work during pregnancy, and once those children get here, they're the ones who have to deal with the emotional baggage that comes with child rearing. They are also the ones who have to deal with postpartum depression in some cases. And sometimes they also have to deal with creating the bond between mother and child, which in some cases isn't there to begin with. All the while dealing with the aftermath of motherhood as a whole. Because let's face it, most men marry or date to replace their mother's love or lack thereof. It's hard for them to understand that all adult relationships can't be compared to those of mother and son. This is why, in addition to your children, as a woman, you may have to deal with the extra burden of taking care of your husband in addition to taking care of your kids. Some of these men are just straight up children in adult bodies. Romantic relationships between men and women are conditional, and to expect a woman to love you unconditionally is not only delusional, but immature and extremely unreasonable. This villainization of quote-unquote modern women and painting them all as delusional every time, while portraying these males as victims in relationships, is intellectually dishonest. Pick-me culture has become very prevalent because a lot of men are regressing in their way of thinking. It's become very common for men these days to be blatant with their disrespect for women because, again, it's male nature to show aggression and throw hissy fits once they don't get their way. We see this every day with males who identify as women. How many times have we heard modern men say that they would like their women to be traditional, submissive, with a laundry list of other expectations, while the men themselves have nothing to offer? You're expected as a woman to be empathetic to their situation, to fall in line and do as you're told, or else you get no ring. So when these women sit online and shame other women for not accepting a group or groups of men who cannot even offer the bare minimum, what they are really doing is trying to demand that you accept men who don't meet your standards, because guess what? They would do the same. Like I loosely mentioned in my last video, the majority of people in the so-called community have a habit of promoting suffering by numbers. Anytime you are seen to be doing better than them, there's a disdain for your success or elevation. How dare you for thinking that you're better than everyone else. Who do you think you are? How dare you abandon the quote-unquote community? Now that you've left, you really do think you're better than us. You know, there's this need to want to humble Black women every single time. There's this need to want to humble any Black woman who doesn't subscribe to the notion of struggle love. These women are insulting to other Black women who refuse to play the same old regressive game of Build-A-Bum, and that is why they go out of their way to shame you when you choose yourself over unworthy men. These women are nothing but agents, detractors who hate other women for choosing better simply because they refuse to be in competition with them for Scooby snacks. You should pay attention to the language they use, the buzzwords, the phrases to try and shame you and keep you in line. These females, these divestors, these hyenas, they abandoned their community. These modern women, etc. I wanted to bring your attention to this, okay? I wanted to focus on this in particular. These females, or you females, it's always a red flag to me when a man or a woman, especially, refers to another woman as female. There's a certain level of disregard and disrespect that comes along with calling an adult woman a female. And before someone comes for me in the comment section, yes, I know, a woman is an adult human female. That is the definition with emphasis on sex. However, we are human beings, not animals. Because we live in a society, we are acclimated to using the terms girl or woman for a younger or older human of the female sex. We use the terms boy or man to refer to younger or older humans of the male sex. Now, if we were meant to be called females all day, every day, there would be no need for us to use the term woman, right? I mean, it's not like the animal kingdom where you constantly have to use the terms female or male to specify an organism's sex. As humans, we have man and woman, girl or boy. And if you have to use the term female specifically, it's normally used to contextualize something for a specific purpose, to make a specific point. So in this context, when these particular women call other women females, it's used as a term of degradation and disrespect. It's derogatory. It's also very ghetto and shows a certain level of ignorance because learned individuals tend to use that term in a proper fashion. Sorry, not sorry. I know that the trolling community will be mad at me saying that. Oh well, look at the males. And yes, I use males towards those I don't respect or those I feel are underqualified to give relationship or other advice geared towards women when they have no clue what they're talking about. Anyway, look at people like Kevin Samuels, Andrew Tate, and majority of the Manosphere. None of them have respect for women. They look at women as objects of sexual desire to be passed around and consumed for a man's pleasure. You as a woman have no value, and your worth is predicated upon your proximity to a man, the type of man that you end up with, or how few to no man you've slept with. That's how your worth is determined. And beyond that, you're just a walking hot pocket. You are literally nothing on your own, and their constant shaming and degradation as they continue to sell toxic advice to women that doesn't even benefit them at all is something that they rely on to keep women mentally captive to their built-in misogyny. These people who have no clue what a healthy relationship looks like have managed to convince weak-minded women with low self-esteem that the only way they could ever matter is by catering to a man's needs. You're not looked upon as an individual. As far as they're concerned, your purpose is to serve them, breed their likeness, and take the abuse. Their logic is such that the more women pander to men, the better their lives would be. And we all know that's a lie. Unfortunately, most Black women have been brainwashed to believe that they are nothing without a man. And this is why you have many facilitating toxic relationships. And they all do it with the delusional understanding that somehow, in order for you as a woman to get what you want, you have to suffer for it. It's crazy. Most Black women believe that they're supposed to be led somewhere by a man. And this is why majority keep finding themselves in a constant state of trauma because they are too busy participating in other people's toxic ways and ignoring their own foundational trauma. Black women, why is it so important for most of you to feel you must be led by another human being? Are you not capable of being the driver of your own existence? Where does this idea of having a leader or a boss come from? Why do you feel incapable of leading your own life? These are rhetorical questions, by the way. I know where all of this stems from, but I would like you to take a moment to ask yourselves why you would relinquish your power to your own personal journey and place it in the hands of another human being just so you could follow their lead. I hear it all the time in this space where Manosphere men and women talk about a woman not being able to take a man's lead. If great marriages are really what these people are selling, why should they involve the dumbing down of women by elevating misogyny, or in this case, misogynoir? It seems to be the running theme here, and these women who listen to such garbage, unfortunately, don't see anything wrong with a lot of these toxic messages because they lack self-love. The funny thing is, the majority of people running these scams, because that's what they are, aren't even married themselves. And those who are don't even believe what they preach to Black women. They would never practice what they preach. Marriage to these men and women consists of degrading women. This is why they keep asking you what you bring to the table or doing 50-50. As a woman, you should already know that when you decide to get married and agree to having children, 50-50 is never a good idea because you will be doing the bulk of the work anyway. If a man can't afford to get you a housekeeper, a cleaner every once in a while, or take care of you once those children arrive, doesn't that sound more like a roommate? You will be doing the majority of work around the house. You will physically, mentally, and emotionally be expected to show up for him, your children, and by the time you're done doing all of that, when do you get a chance to have your personal time? Child rearing is left primarily to the mother, so if you are expected to work, cook, clean, take care of the kids, as well as the household, plus pay half of all the bills, give him amazing sex, how are you as a woman benefiting from marriage? Is it worth it? Most marriages end in divorce, and the initiators of those divorces are women in most cases. Ask yourselves why. Most women aren't being physically and emotionally fulfilled in relationships because a lot of men have no emotional intelligence. Most men do not have what it takes to satisfy a woman, nor are they willing to learn. A lot of women have a habit of putting up with it because most women are flexible, They are empathetic, they are accepting, and they are agreeable, contrary to the lies being spread by weak-ass men. There's a huge difference between that and being happy. They treat women based off of their experiences in previously failed relationships, which, by the way, they never learned from. Women have different needs and expectations, and the reason marriages fail is because very few men are willing to tap in and listen to what you have to say as a woman. If you are consuming advice from the queens of the Manosphere, you're most likely going to be single for the rest of your life. And there's nothing wrong with that. However, if you're going to these channels to look for great advice on how to find someone, how to be in a relationship, these women are not it. These women promote abusive dynamics within relationships. Remember, these are black men in dresses. Well, at least their mindset is. They would like to think that they come off as fit, feminine, and friendly, but it's all a facade. If they had such wonderful advice, why are a lot of them not married? And to the ones who are supposedly married, how are these women resting in their femininity when all they do is sit online, asking their subscribers to give them money to replace their broken laptop, for instance? If you have a passion for something and need help with whatever, shouldn't your husband help provide what you need? Isn't that the whole purpose of being married? To have someone who will support your dreams, your aspirations, and help you when in need? And then you have those who know that they'll never be picked because based off of the black male's description of what he likes, you don't fit the bill, but will attack other black women for exercising their right to date and marry out, all the while claiming to be a femininity coach while acting masculine as hell. And then there are those of them who think that youth will forever be on their side. Ageist as fuck. I mean, who are you? Dorian Gray? You know, something's got to be said about a woman who utilizes the same old misogynistic talking points that the geriatric males of the Manosphere use when they want to take advantage of young, inexperienced women whose brains haven't even solidified yet. These women speak disparagingly about Black American women while ignoring the R-ing, femicide, poverty, and high rates of fatherless homes and out-of-wedlock childbirths in their own countries of origin. And then there are those who are avid supporters of passport bros, aggressively attacking Western women while totally ignoring the predatory aspect of this movement. It's crazy how any woman can be nonchalant to the atrocities imposed on women by low-quality males. These women are black male identified. That's a fact. They have shown us just how little they think of themselves because they don't even like people their own gender. They don't understand what it feels like to be a woman who stands in her own truth, her own strength. And I don't mean that in a strong black woman kind of way, right? Because we don't promote that stereotype around here. What I'm talking about is the inner strength that embodies all that you are, the part that recognizes who you are on a much deeper level to where you're not malleable enough to be bent to the will of others. As far as relationships are concerned, only a real man can appreciate such qualities in a woman. Real men don't sit online bitching about women all day. The problem with people in this particular sector of YouTube is you have a lot of people who are inexperienced at life, and the very thing that they like to push, which is marriage, fighting for the top spot as the HBIC, all the while using Black women as their talking point. These women are not here to offer positivity to Black women. They are here to play the pick-me game, because even those who are quote-unquote picked act as if they're not. They use Black women as props to gain favor from the very men who delete them. We all know that there's money and clout in the degradation of Black women. The reason these women get a lot of support from the males that they pander to is because they think that they can polish a turd and turn it into Prince Charming. A Dusty in a suit is exactly that. A Dusty. You can put lipstick on a pig, but guess what? It's still a pig. Black women, you need to be very careful what kind of energy you invite into your sacred spaces. There are a lot of wolves in sheep's clothing, and sadly, those wolves have accomplices. There are a lot of demons and a lot of women waiting to have you sacrificed. There's nothing wrong in working on yourself in order to get to a better place. Most of us need it. A man will not fix what's broken underneath. No one in these internet streets will fix what's broken underneath. That's between you and your therapist. There's no shame in asking for help and working on yourself. There's no shame in being single. There's nothing wrong with being single or waiting until later in life to get married. When you listen to the way these women talk about single women, you would actually think it was some kind of affliction, like there's something wrong with you. Not every woman is interested in using a man as Band-Aid to cover up what's going on underneath. And don't get me wrong, marriage is a beautiful thing, but you need to be in the right frame of mind for it to work. It's not for the faint-hearted. Most people are broken and try to use relationships as therapy. And because shaming Black women or women in general to get married by a certain age or a certain time is big business, it leaves most women feeling insecure, like they're failing at life. There are 3 things that are very touchy to the psyche of most Black women, and those are hair, children, and marriage. These people know this, and that is why they use those things as shaming tactics towards Black women. Why does it matter if you get married in your 20s, 30s, 40s, or even 50s? Timing is everything. What you want in life is everything. If you cater to societal norms and use that as your guide to living life, you're probably miserable. You need to figure out what you want. Cater to your life and not the opinions of others. And it doesn't matter what you do or how you do it. People will always have something to say about it. You need to ask yourself whose opinion matters the most when it comes to your own affairs. Is what other people think of you more important than what you think of yourself? Priorities, ladies, priorities. And this is something that these pick-me's will not tell you. They want you to prioritize a man over yourself. They want you to shrink yourself and make yourself vulnerable for a man's approval while opening yourself up to abuse. These women literally make men the center of their existence. And it's sad. There's no shame in being child-free. If you choose to freeze your eggs and have your child or children later in life, that's your prerogative. But what's happening now is they are shaming women who are choosing to do that. Let that sink in. The pick-me fever is heavy here. These women are toxic. They do not promote positivity towards other women. They feel a sense of joy seeing other women fail because They think that it leaves them pickable. There's no shame in wanting to stay single and unmarried. That's an option too. Only you can complete you. Marriage doesn't complete anyone, especially when you've invested no time in getting to know yourself. Again, marriage doesn't complete anyone because if it did, there would be less divorce. But we've seen the stats. These males are panicking right now because most women are choosing themselves. Most women are choosing better and have higher standards and expectations in relationships. They need to dangle the ring and marriage as a last-ditch effort to try and control you. It's all they've got. Their handlers are playing along because why should they have to experience misery by themselves? They are obsessed with a peen and will refute the damage that these males cause to the so-called community. This one right here doesn't believe in the femicide numbers. She thinks that the numbers are overinflated. Now make that make sense. They don't care about anything else but the black peen. These women will hand you over to your deleter if they could. And this one right here has never had any love for Black American women. She has said a lot of crap about Black women. She's mixed, white British mother and Black Nigerian father. She can't seem to relate to Black women for whatever reason. She has fallen off the radar a little bit since the demise of her God and Savior, Kevin Samuels. She literally made that male her whole identity. And now her talking points seem to have dried up as well. And this one is just another quote-unquote preference who's trying to reinvent the wheel, telling her kangs the secret to the female mindset. She caters and panders to Black males hugely. This one right here is a Filipina who welcomes passport bros. These chickenheads have no clue what they're supporting or inviting. She thinks that we're bitter because Black males are leaving Western women to be with them. But girl, you can have them. Passport predators are rejects in their own countries because they are bottom of the barrel scum that nobody wants. The American ones complain about Black women all day, every day, because they have used and abused Black women and burnt all their bridges. They are really nothing to brag about. We know them more than you do. If you truly believe that you're getting the cream of the crop, you're not. But enjoy. Hope you don't end up with some incurable STD or worse, 6 feet under. But good luck to you and your people because you're gonna need it. And there's this one here. She's married with kids, married to a white man, allegedly. Claims to live this soft life and apparently her husband provides for her quite well. Yet she frequents Pookie's channels looking for Scooby snacks. This is your typical Black male-identified woman who married out but still yearns Black males. And the way she talks about Black American women is very hateful and very disrespectful. She would never talk about the R-ring and femicide in Guyana, but will gaslight Black American women over an acre. You can't make this BS up. And just when you thought you'd heard it all, here comes another brainwashed chickenhead from across the pond in the UK, talking a whole lot of nonsense. Let's take a listen.
It's your prophetess, Mary Tama, the Queen of the Northern Kingdom. Today I want to address women, especially Black women. Marriage is the highest form of achievement for a Black woman. A woman was born to be married and have children. That is our sole purpose on this earth. We are here to be married and to have babies. We are here to multiply and feel the earth. That is our main purpose for our existence.
So women are basically useless beings who should always be barefoot and pregnant because that's all they're good for? Okay, gotcha.
I don't care what morality of today teaches you. That your highest form of achievement is going to university and having a degree. I had a degree in mental health nursing. I had a career, but I left it.
She has a degree in mental health nursing, yet that didn't help her navigate her mental health? Because sis looks like she should be on somebody's couch unpacking how she got here in the first place.
Because there was nothing fulfilling about it. I hated leaving my children and going to work and having to put my children in daycare or nursery whilst I go to work and work for the system. That to me was the highest form of slavery. I left it. I wanted to spend quality time with my children. I wanted to be a homemaker. I wanted to be a virtuous woman.
So she left her career to be a homemaker. Usually, there'd be nothing wrong with that, but how much are you willing to bet that the decision to stay at home comes from this brainwashed lifestyle of hers? I think she was coerced into making this decision. You will hear why in a moment.
I wanted to serve my husband. I wanted to cook for him. I wanted to clean the house and make sure that when my husband comes back home, the home is warm. There's a hot meal on the table. The children are bathed and fed. That is my highest purpose on this earth, is to be a wife and to be a mother.
Like I said, what are the chances that she was coerced into making this decision? Let's continue.
So all of you women who think that going to university is your highest level of achievement, you're lost. You're not going to enter the kingdom of God.
The assumption here, of course, is that we all believe in this religious doctrine. Why do some of these religious crazies think that we all believe in this mess? No disrespect to those who choose organized religion, but why not keep your faith within the boundaries of those who believe and feel the same way you do? The constant recruitment is so unnecessary. Let me guess. God is a man? Is God male? Who do you think created these beliefs and for what purpose? Let's continue.
The highest level of achievement for a woman to fulfill her God-given purpose is to be a wife. Being a wife is making it in life. I have made it in life. I married well. I've got the most amazing husband. I've got the most amazing father of my children. So I have made it.
We all have different levels of achievement in life, and guess who determines that? You. You get to determine what success looks like to you. Yes, there's a societal standard as well, but the most authentic, the most genuine determination comes from you. It's okay to believe in whatever you want, but don't push your beliefs on other people. Stay in your lane.
If you want to look at a successful woman, I am a successful woman because I'm a wife.
Good for you. I'm glad it works for you. But your lifestyle isn't for everyone, especially when it makes you look and sound as ridiculous as you do.
I serve my husband. I bow before him. That is my highest calling, to be obedient to my Lord husband.
Obedient? Like a lapdog? So you can't exist in your own capacity as a woman? You need guidance from another grown-ass human being? For what reason exactly?
And I want all women in this world to look up to me as your queen. If you want a role model, you're looking at one.
No thanks. Now I know you're trolling. This, ladies and gentlemen, is a bad combination of delusion and low self-esteem. There's a lot of that going around with some of you Black women who are heavily invested in Black male worship. Why does this remind me of Derek Jackson's wife? Let's continue.
I teach my daughters the same, that their highest calling in life is to be wives and to have children and to multiply the earth. I am raising amazing, intelligent, virtuous girls. I am the definition of success. I am your Queen Mary Tama.
Queen Mary Tama needs help. So this is the level of desperation and brainwashing that some of these women are putting themselves through. Sharing peen, indoctrinating their own daughters into doing the same. Not really caring about their pH balance or overall health. This is your role model, ladies. I'm just kidding. So I found out that she's married to a polygamist. Well, surprise, surprise. He's Black, by the way, and he sounds African. I'm not too sure which country he comes from, but that's irrelevant. But guess what? They have 7 kids together. And that doesn't include the number of kids that he possibly has with his other wives. He has a total of 3 wives, I believe, and she's wife number 1. The HBIC, the Queen, and one of her sister wives is a Black American woman. So these dust buckets are out here recruiting. Probably met Harambe here online. Who knows? But yeah, this is what you need to be aspiring to. Why? Do these women actually realize what they sound like? It's beyond crazy to me, but there you have it. You know, when I first watched her video, I wasn't too sure if it was a prank, if she was trolling or doing some kind of skit. It seemed like satire to me, but apparently she was being serious. And to all my British subscribers, is this woman from the north of England? I was trying to place her accent, but couldn't pinpoint where she's from or where she sounds like she's from. Let me know in the comment section. But yeah, ladies, continue to divest because it's crazy out here.
Mary,
Yes, my lords.
how do women of the Northern Kingdom address their husbands?
Lord, Master.
How do they serve their master?
They bow before their master.
Where are we going?
The Northern Kingdom.
Where is the power?
With the Black people, with you, my Messiah.
Who is the king of the north?
You, my Lord, Atihan.
And who is your master?
You, my Lord, Atihan.
All women out there, prepare to return to innocence. And remember, your man, your husband, is your God. Atihan.
On that note, what are your thoughts on what's been discussed here today? Please leave your thoughts and comments down below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And remember, ladies, divest, divest, divest. Divest like a butterfly. Bye, diamonds.